I am so happy that LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony has made up their mind. Regardless if I like the decision or not. One, let's talk about LeBron. LeBron, who always got bashed constantly by ESPN. ESPN always bashed him, saying he's not greater than Jordan. Continue to bash him. Hear him on First Take. Skip Bayless always bashed him. The insiders always bash LeBron. It's pretty much bash on LeBron. They was the same one who, yes, LeBron and his people did use ESPN and partnered with them, and they did the decision, and they did horrible. So you know what? I'm not going to let ESPN know nothing. And what did ESPN do during this whole free agency period on LeBron James? They couldn't find nothing. They was just reaching for stories. They couldn't find nothing. We could have went out there, as regular people could have went out there and been on SportsCenter and just guessed, because that's all their reporters was doing. They was just reaching for stories. They didn't know. LeBron, the one reason why I like his decision, aka the letter, reason why I liked it, because he put it in his hands. He decided, you know what, I'm not going to use ESPN this time. I'm going to use Sports Illustrated, their rival, ESPN rival. I'm going to use them and tell my decision to them instead of ESPN. So that's one of the reasons why I kind of like it. You know what? You always bashing on me and coming to me, so why would I use you to help me use my decision? I'm going to do something opposite. I'm going to go against you, and I'm going to use your rivals. I love that. Carmelo Anthony, on his side, I don't knock him. Yeah, he did it for money, but also it's a mixture of reasons. Look, it's no guarantee that he's going to win a championship with Chicago if he joins them, because all of it still depends on a healthy Derrick Rose. If he gets hurt, who's saying that you're going to win the championship, even with Carmelo Anthony on that team? And I'm taking less, and I have to move my family? I don't know if I want to do all that. And with a history of Bulls management that's known for treating players kind of wrong, their players kind of wrong, the coaches kind of wrong, bad management. So why would I join that? You know what? I'm comfortable in New York. So you know what? I respect both of their decisions. This is the BS Podcast Show. I'm your host, Brandon Fryer, a.k.a.
The Fry Guys.
Welcome to another edition of this BS Podcast Show. Like before, I'm your host, the Fry Guy. Got the homie Mike Howard in the building. We have a great show for you today. We got Your Ish. We got NBA free agency. We got something interesting at halftime. Talk about this whole lawsuit deal, the most strangest and weirdest lawsuits. We're going to break into that. And it all stems off of, that fan on ESPN who was sitting there sleeping at the game. And he decided to sue ESPN and their commentators because they was talking about they was harassing him. Now he, got all this turmoil in his life, which I think is a little absurd. I think he sued him for $10 million, which is crazy. But we got a whole bunch show to talk about. Before we get into any of that, though, let's get you caught up with this BS update. And let's start off in the NFL, because the Saints and tight end Jimmy Graham reached agreement on a new deal. 4 years, $40 million. 21 of that is guaranteed. So a great deal for Jimmy Graham. So look like that whole arbitration rule, it ain't gonna affect Jimmy Graham, because Jimmy Graham got the moolah. Panther defensive end Greg Hardy was found guilty of domestic violence. He received a 60-day suspension sentence, and he would get 18 months of probation. Also, there's a report that 4 teams had expressed interest in Texans wide receiver Andre Johnson. Apparently, he wants out of Houston. Ravens cornerback Jimmy Graham was arrested for disorderly conduct. That is the 5th Ravens player that's been in trouble with the law this offseason. In the NHL, Sidney Crosby will have surgery on his wrist. There's been a report on that. The Blackhawks reached agreement on extensions for Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane. They received about $10 million each. So that is big news for the Blackhawks, keeping the cornerstones intact. In the MLB, Johan Cespedes wins the Home Run Derby. Other news in the World Cup, Germany wins the World Cup over Argentina. Messi wins the Golden Ball Award and stuff like that. In the NBA, a lot of free agency news. So let me just break all this down, because this is about to be real long right here. Okay, the Hornets and Gordon Hayward agreed to a new $60 million offer sheet, but the Jazz matched that. The Raptors signed Grievous Vasquez, James Johnson, Patrick Patterson. The Blazers signed Steve Blake. Mike Woodson will join the coaching staff of the Clippers. The Mavs and Chandler Parsons agreed to a new 3-year, $45 million deal, which the Rockets did not match. So what they did, they signed Trevor Ariza. Vince Carter signed with the Grizzlies. Anthony Morrow signs with the Thunder. Chris Bosh re-signs with the Heat. Melo re-signs with the Knicks. Mario Chalmers re-signed with the Heat along with Birdman. Luol Deng also signs with the Heat. Brian Roberts signed with the Hornets. Richard Jefferson signs with the Mavericks. Trade went down. Okay, follow with me. Trade went down. Since the Rockets got Trevor Ariza, the Pelicans get Omar Sheik. And then the Wizards get the trade exception for Trevor Ariza. And then they sign Paul Pierce. Marvin Williams signs with the Hornets. Paul Gasol signs with the Bulls. Another trade went down. The Nets, Celtics, and the Cavs, they all worked something out. Which pretty much, the Celtics acquired Marcus Thornton and Tyler Zero in the first-round pick. The Nets acquired Jared Jack and an overseas player. The Cavs received draft right to a bunch of international players that's probably going to stay over there overseas, but they acquired cap space where they can sign LeBron James, which is the big story. So we need to get into that in our first quarter. Look, it is a great PR story, and you've been hearing it probably all over ESPN and every sports radio station and other sports networks about LeBron James and the letter. It's not the decision, it's the letter, because he pretty much said it to Sports Illustrated's Lee Jenkins, and it is deep, detailed of why he chose it. It's a great PR move. You love it. You got to talk about it. Just what this does for Cleveland. Obviously, it puts them right there in contention for pretty much Eastern Conference championships. Now, we don't know how they can compete against the West because you got to see the development of Uncle Drew and then Andrew Wiggins and see how the other young players do. It gives LeBron James some time, and it kind of takes the pressure off his back. But what this does, this decision that LeBron made, to me, if you read the letter, it's more than just basketball. It's definitely more than just basketball. It is about his life. It is about what he means for the city of Cleveland. Alone, LeBron picking the Cavs, it increased the Cavs value over $1 billion. And there's already been a report that the Cavs has already sold out season tickets that day that LeBron announced his decision. So Friday morning, he said, I'm going to the Cavs. And by the end of that day, they sold out season tickets, the Cavs. And thanks to my homie Mike over here, who just informed me on some great news, because I thought I wasn't going to have a guest for this week's show, but I do. I have ESPN's Jorge Sedano. He does great work. He fills in for shows. He's a great ESPN announcer and the reporter there. He does great work, especially in his field of basketball, and he's here to talk about LeBron and the whole letter decision. First off, Jorge, thanks for joining us. He's joining us, by the way, via Skype. So, Jorge, first thing, your thoughts of LeBron re-signing with Cleveland, and why did he re-sign with Cleveland?
Look, no one should begrudge him for going home, okay? That's just the reality of it. His wife didn't seem to like it very much in Miami. His crew didn't seem to like it, or his entourage didn't seem to like it very much in Miami. And look, he had a great opportunity there. He won championships. But I think there is the other side to this coin, too, where, you know, when he made the decision and it was on television in 2010 and blah, 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 and the media excoriated him and just ripped him apart, that's, to me, this is really not all that different, except the fact that he did it in a more humble way that the media gets to gravitate to. Because in essence, and I don't believe he took the easy way out to go to Miami, but I find that it's interesting that people aren't being consistent about this. Because they said he took the easy way out to Miami, which I didn't agree, and yet those same people are loving the fact that he's going back to Cleveland.
So then, Jorge, why choose Cleveland over Miami?
He's basically taken the pressure off himself, at least for a year, if not maybe longer, because he did the whole coming home thing to Cleveland, and it's hard when you tug at people's heartstrings. So I think it is a little bit of both, but I find it interesting that, yeah, we went nuts and everyone ripped him, not me or you necessarily, but a lot of people went nuts for, quote-unquote, taking the easy way out, and he might actually be doing the same thing here, because in Miami it's championship or bust every single season. It's chasing Jordan. It's 6.
I hear you, Jorge. It's like, hey, now that I'm in Cleveland, I don't have to keep chasing Jordan. If I win one ring, hey, Cleveland will love me. I'll be a god here. I'm already a god here just because I came back. So if I win one ring, hey, that's cool. A lot of pressure's off of him. I feel you on that, Jorge.
Look, the fact that he gets to enjoy himself and be home, and his kids get to be home, and his wife gets to be home, and everyone gets to be home, and it does take some pressure off them. I think all that is alleviating for him, and anyone with a heart would understand that. And I'm with you. I get that part. I do think it's interesting, though, because in sports, that's not how we tend to judge people, right? We tend to judge them by how hardened they are because of the criticism and overcoming the criticism. Right. And he did that. And now he was kind of in the driver's seat already, even though there was always going to be this added pressure in Miami because of the way he went about it and who he was teaming up with, and the chasing Jordan angle or whatnot. But that's the sports perspective we take with everyone, right? Haven't we been doing that with Kobe for many, many years now? At this stage, I don't think he's winning any more championships, but for a long time we were like, oh, Kobe needs to try to catch Jordan.
Now, of course, LeBron was the biggest story, but there was other moves in the NBA free agency like I announced on the BS update. So me and Mike, we're going to play a game. It's called Stock Up, Stock Down. Mike's going to tell me some teams, and I'm going to tell you if their stock is up or the stock is down at the free agency. So simple as that. It's an easy game to play. Mike, throw some names at me. Throw a team at me. Come on, let's go. Let's do this. I'm ready. Let me get ready. What you got? Who you got? All right, first, the Miami Heat. Stock up, stock down. I'm going to go with their stock is obviously down. Anytime you lose the best player in the game, your stock is going down. They went from easily being the number one team in the East to now probably that 4, 5, 6 range because you don't know what you're getting out of Dwayne Wade. Yes, Luol Deng's a good two-way player, but to me, ever since that little spinal tap little thing, he hasn't been the same player. He's became more of a chucker. I saw his game over there in Cleveland. He became a little more of a chucker, just throwing up shots, but maybe with a better system, who knows? Chris Bosh, I really think his game is going to get better. You're going to see the old Chris Bosh. Yeah, they overpaid for some players. I think they reached for the players, but in the East is so weak, they're still in that middle of the pack to me. So, but from being last season number one seed, yeah, their stock is definitely down. Who's next? Okay, Houston Rockets. Who you got? Stock up, stock down. It's easy for me. Their stock, to me, has went down. Reason why I say that, you lose Chandler Parsons. Chandler Parsons to me was a good piece. I understand you overpaid for them and you replace him with Trevor Ariza. Trevor Ariza is a nice player, but for paying $8 million a season for a player, and I understand that whole thing, just to be, I think they're still a first round or second round exit. They're still like down a little bit. Now you lose Jeremy Lin, Omar Sheik, you lose your depth really, and all you got to show for it is Trevor Ariza with James Harden and Dwight Howard, and I felt the chemistry on that team was so much better. You heard Patrick Beverley, he was upset that Jeremy Lin was gone. Dwight Howard, one of the reasons why he came here, he said because of his partnership with Chandler Parsons, now he's gone. I just don't like the whole flow of that right now. I think the Houston Rockets stock is definitely down. Who else you got? Okay, next up, I got the Washington Wizards. Stock up or stock down? Okay, for the Washington Wizards, I'm going to say their stock is up because they got young pieces who's going to get better in John Wall and Bradley Beal. You re-sign Martin Gortat. Yes, you lose Trevor Ariza, but you get Paul Pierce who brings that veteran leadership. So I like that for them. And the East now is more wide open. Like they went from like probably that 4 or 5 seed. They can be a 3 seed. They can move up some. They can move a seed or 2 up. So, hey, I definitely see that. Who else you got? Okay, Dallas Mavericks. All right, Dallas Mavericks to me, their stocks went up. I like what Mark Cuban does. I actually like what he did this season, and I like what he did last season. He does these small little deals. Look, he got Chandler Parsons. Yeah, you can make fun of the deal, whatever, but you got Chandler Parsons. You got Dirk Nowitzki on a discount. You got Tyson Chandler to bring back that whole chemistry. Now, I'm a little afraid of their point guard. I don't know who they're going to have there because Jose Calderon actually feel that he fit well there, but now he's gone. So I don't like Raymond Felton there, but I do like that you got Devin Harris. Then you got Richard Jefferson off your bench. Hey, the Mavericks, something to watch. They're not going to be an AC. To me, there's a playoff team, and now you got a young player in Chandler Parsons to build off of, too. Watch out for the Dallas Mavericks. That's all I got to say. Who else you got? Okay, last one. The Los Angeles Lakers. Stock up or stock down? Their stock, to me, is going down. Still down. I still think they're going to struggle to be a playoff team. Jeremy Lin's a nice player. He might do some things. He might wow you. He might bring that whole Lin Sandy thing there to La La Land. But you don't know what you're getting out of Kobe. You don't still have a coach. Paul Gasol is gone. it's just too much turmoil there. Julius Randle, yeah, he's doing okay in the Summer League game, but Summer League game to me is glorified practice. That's all it is. It's nothing more. There's players who ball all out and then get no tick in the NBA, or it doesn't show when the real season starts. So their stock is down, and they actually paid more for certain players. Yeah, you got Nick Young back, Jordan Hill, but you paid them big money to pretty much be rotational guys. Like, they're really spending a lot, and I feel like they just filling in that cap money they get, and they just overspending. So to me, their stock is down. Let's get into halftime, man. Okay, halftime here. We're going to go a little out of bounds. A little bit, not too much, off sports a little bit, because, we're going to talk about some legal troubles. And with that being said, the whole fan got caught on ESPN who was suing ESPN and their commentators for like $10 million because I guess they made fun of him. They didn't even make fun of him. They just talked about that he was sleeping, but now he's having just like distress and, mental breakdowns, and he's getting harassed and all this other stuff. So he sued him for $10 million, which we thought was crazy, right? But it's not actually one of the most strangest lawsuits. I found 3 other ones that I want to talk about that got into like court. It's been hilarious. Okay, one is a Jets fan suing the Patriots over that whole Spygate scandal. Now, the Patriots apparently in 2007 they secretly videotaped Jets coaches during their practices. So the whole Spygate scandal. But Jet fans sued them, and one Jet fan, his name was Carl Myers. Okay, he sued them because they felt like. And he sued them for $185 million in damages to all Jets fans alone. That's how much it should have cost them. But apparently they lost, of course, in 2014. But crazy, right? I got another one. Here's another one. A hostile Heat fan sued the Spurs and Greg Popovich for that game on November 26th. I think it was like 2 seasons ago or something like that, or a season ago, where he sued them because the Spurs sat all their stars. They sat like the big 3. I think Danny Granger sat 2. Sat them all down. They played the bench in Miami. So Heat fans sued them. Larry McGinnis sued them. I think that's still going on right now. But crazy. These fans are crazy. And this is my favorite one. A Bulls fan sued Derrick Rose for making him obese. The fan is named Matthew Thomas, 25 years old. He apparently sued Derrick Rose because of his whole season-long absence from the team. It led him to have a mental breakdown, which led him to eat and led him to obesity. I am not making this up. So stranger things has happened when it comes to sports lawsuits. Let's get back into the quarter. I'm glad I ended off the halftime talking about Derrick Rose and the Bulls, because I'm going to talk about the Bulls here in our local edition here in the third quarter. And one thing I want to talk about the Bulls is, how do you feel about what the Bulls done? Now, a lot of people are giving them praises because they went after Paul Gasol, and yeah, it shores up their big man depth. I like that. Now you got Joakim Noah, Paul Gasol, Taj Gibson, you got Mirotić coming over. You got a nice, good big depth, and a lot of people and analysts are saying that what they're doing is mimicking what the Spurs are doing. Yeah, there's only a difference there. The Spurs have some people who can actually score and put the ball in buckets, while the Bulls been going on droughts. Now look, I like Paul Gasol, nice piece, but when they signed him, I was like, meh. I gave him a C+. And I like the moves they done. Mirotić coming over, yeah, that's good, but he's an unknown. Paul Gasol, yeah, he's good. He can't create a shot on his own. He's a good passer. I mean, yeah, he's 34. It's a cheaper deal. Yeah, I like it. Nah. Doug McDermott coming over. Yeah, he's a rookie, though. Nah. Yeah, Kurt Heinrich's back. Okay, yeah, defense. Nah. Derrick Rose is back, but is he healthy? So, the offseason to me has been meh. The only thing that's going to make me excited when they get somebody else who can create on their own, create their own shot one-on-one. That's what they need. That's the only thing with the Bulls meant. They get that, then I'm happy. Yeah, they need to address their shooters. They got shooters. They got Doug McDermott. They got Mirotić now. Paul Gasol can shoot, got that elbow range. Tony Snell, yeah, has been balling in Summer League. But then again, I'm saying, meh. Until they get somebody who create their own shot, because this is going to happen. I'm telling you. I'm telling you now. We've been through this story before. And I'm going to keep saying it until we get a guy who can create their own shot. We're going to get into the playoffs. We're going to do good. We're going to win. Then once time the playoffs come, hey, Derrick Rose is going to be dribbling. If he's healthy, Derrick Rose is going to be dribbling the ball. Get a lengthy defender on him. We're shut down. We're not scoring for about 6-7 minutes. Then we lose the game by like 5-7 points. Y'all, this is the same story, guys. Same story. We need someone who create their own shot. And I'm tired of saying the same story. Let's quit being fooled by Bulls manager and what these people are saying. I don't care. Even if we get past the East, yeah, we got a good chance to win the East. But I want championships. Okay? I want championships. And I'm a Bulls fan, and I'm getting tired of the same old story. So right now, until the Bulls get a better scorer, a guy who can create on their own besides Derrick Rose, and who you don't even know what Derrick Rose is going to be like when he gets back, I'm going to say, meh, yeah, we got a shot to compete in the East. Meh. And we also got a shot to probably lose in the first round. Like, say if we get that 4 or 5 seed and then we play like a Wizards or something like that, or the Heat, and then we lose. And then we're like, man, we should have had a one-on-one scorer. So until then, meh. One thing I'm not saying meh about is the Blackhawks. I like they signed and got an extension for Jonathan Taze and Patrick Kane. Got them up to the 2022-2023 season. It's a front-loaded deal, and it's like $44 million in signing bonus. I think each of them got like $10.5 million a season, and I like the fact they kept their market value, and I like that. But now, I sent a question, I BS'd around, I sent it to Twitter. I'm like, now with them locked up, what's next for the Blackhawks? What's their next moves? And somebody's going to have to go, because the salary cap, they're over the salary cap, and somebody has to go. It could be Patrick Sharp. It could be Brent Seabrook. It could be Johnny Odula. It could be. Somebody's going to be gone. Who? I think it's going to be one of the defenders, honestly. I think Odula is going to be gone. I really do. But so far, I'm just to praise the Blackhawks for signing up their 2 stars, and it look like they're going to be Blackhawks for life. So that, I want to commend them, and I need to speak on that because I want to commend them for that. Mike, let's go to the next quarter. It's time for my favorite segment. You know what it's called. It's Your Ish. You send me your questions via Twitter at This BS Show, and I answer them right here. Like these 3 people I got. First up, at Carl Keok says, who is the best fit? What team for wide receiver Andre Johnson? Okay, it's already been reported that 4 teams are interested in him. I don't know what 4 teams they are, but these are the 4 teams that I say would be a good fit for Andre Johnson. One is the Carolina Panthers. Cam Newton needs some receivers out there because Kelvin Benjamin, yeah, he's a rookie. You don't know. And you got a bunch of just other guys there like Cotry there, and I think somebody else, but I can't even remember their name. That just shows you that they don't have no receivers there. So Andre Johnson going there puts them right back in contention to compete for that NFC South, to be the champs there, because their defense is set. They need some help on offense, especially at that wide receiver core, and Andre Johnson will help that. Another team is the New England Patriots. And the reason why I say the New England Patriots, because they need a big receiver. They got a lot of little guys there. Too many little guys there. They need a guy who's in there proven. Yeah, you got your tight end sets. You get an Andre Johnson there. To me, you can arguably say that they're the Super Bowl favorites, right up there with the Denver Broncos for the AFC side. Another one, Oakland Raiders. And the only reason why I say Oakland Raiders, only because of Matt Schaub, the connection with Matt Schaub. Normally, it's either connecting with a coach there or a quarterback there. Matt Schaub and Andre Johnson had a lot of chemistry. So I feel like they can probably, reclaim some of that chemistry. Not too much because it is the Oakland Raiders he's with. Do that. And lastly is the Cleveland Browns. The reason why, because they need a receiver. Because Josh Gordon is definitely going to be gone. He needs help big time. So the fact that he needs help big time, you need wide receiver help there big time to help out with Johnny Football, Brian Hoyer, whoever's going to be your quarterback. But if Cleveland wants to compete and keep that energy buzzing, bring Andre Johnson there. But, Houston said they ain't going to give him up. We'll see how long that lasts. Next up, S_Cook sent me the questions. He said, would you, if you was Cleveland, trade Andrew Wiggins for Kevin Love? Now look, Kevin Love going to Cleveland, a lot of people are saying, yeah, they're contenders, they're the favorites. I still put that as, yeah, they'll be okay, but I don't know if they can still get that championship over the West, the conference, or any West team for that matter. And I can't even say that maybe they can. I'm not guaranteeing that they're going to take the East either, because one thing about Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving, not LeBron James, but those two, Uncle Drew and K Love, one thing about them, they're injury prone. And granted, it all sounds good on paper with the spacing and all that, and yeah, that's a good look. But with that, they're injury prone, and they're not good defensively. And Andrew Wiggins, I like Andrew Wiggins, and I feel like let's see how this team does this year, and then we can revisit that Kevin Love thing probably later down the line, the trade deadline. I just want to see Andrew Wiggins with LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, see how they do in the beginning of the season. Then if you don't see it working, then make that trade probably at the trade deadline. But right now, I wouldn't do it. Right now, I wouldn't. Because too much uncertainty. It's still the same level. Like, it don't boost you up too much to me. And I know all these analysts saying, yeah, it works. Everything looks good on paper, but we got to see it out there on the floor. Next up, Cynthia Fain. I got a lot of females sending me questions now. This is the second one. But anyway, she sends me one and says, hey, the home run derby was boring to me. It lasted forever. Baseball need to fix this, don't you think? Baseball need to fix a lot of things. I don't even like the whole All-Star thing. I didn't even catch the home run derby just because baseball is just not doing it for me. It's just too long. I don't even like the whole theory of the All-Star game. The winner of the All-Star game, winner gets like home field advantage. Like, who cares? Like, the All-Star game is supposed to be fun and make it more fun. Even the home run derby is not as fun as it used to be. It was so long and drawn out. Like, this thing was lasting forever. Like, I knew when the game started and then it was still going on. It's just too much. They doing too much. Just Bud Selig, I can't wait for him to go as a commissioner because baseball needs to get fixed. If you know, look back on my Tumblr page and I told you if I was the commissioner of MLB what I would do. Go back on my Tumblr page, thefryguyBS.tumblr.com. Go on there and check it out because you'll see what I do. And I think I would make baseball way more exciting. You know, my BS player of the game, I talked about him earlier. I'm going to talk about him now. It goes to Andrew Wiggins. And the reason why I'm giving it to Andrew Wiggins, he's doing a pretty good job in Summer League, but that's not the reason why I got him. He got a shoe deal. I think it's with Adidas. But it's between the $10 and $12 million range. And to me, that is the highest in his rookie class. Now, granted, you would say that he deserves it because he's the one pick, but I actually think Andrew Wiggins' game is going to fit right. I feel like worst case scenario, he's DeMar DeRozan, which is not bad. I mean, DeMar DeRozan is arguably still an all-star player. So my full bull goes to Chris Bosh. He said, even though he resigned that max deal with the Heat and they lost LeBron, that they can still contend and get a title. Chris Bosh, do not feed me BS and call it sugarist. You just lost the best player in the game. Okay? Now, I understand you're going to probably feel like you Chris Bosh, and you're saying all that. And Chris Bosh is normally honest, and I don't feel like he's being honest here. Look, to me, you're not better than the Bulls. To me, you're not better even with the Pacers. You're not better than even Cleveland right now. You don't even know what you're getting out of Dwayne Wade. Okay? You still got Mario. You got the same team there. You replace LeBron James with Luol Deng. And to me, LeBron James is way higher than Luol Deng. So say that itch for the birds. Don't pee on my leg and tell me that it's raining. You are full of bull. If you get a chance, check out my Tumblr page, thefryguyBS.tumblr.com. Go on there. We got the photos of the week. We got an article on Deck. We got, which is pretty much talking about the future of a player in the MLB. I got the NBA and the NFL. So check them out. Future faces. Get to know them because they might be superstars later. A preview of Hard Knocks for the Atlanta Falcons. Yo, I would watch the World Cup if WWE's Jim Ross was doing it. You got to check out the video for that. It is hilarious. I was laughing. We got LeBron's letter on there as well. Plus, much, much more. Oh, Derek Jeter's Respect commercial. You got to check it out. It'll give you chills. Check it out on thefryguyBS.tumblr.com. Also go on my YouTube page. Just type in this BS show. We got that on there as well. I like to thank everybody for tuning in. Shout out to Devin Washington, Angela Lewis, Mike Howard for being here, Jorge Sedano for being my guest. You guys for tuning in and listening. And remember, life is a game, so play hard all 4 quarters. This has been another edition of this BS podcast show. I'm your host, Brandon Fryer, aka The Fry Guy. 2 fingers in the air. Peace. I see you next week, man. Another show done. I'm about to enjoy this Tuesday night.
Bye-bye.
Trippy.
I'm out of here anyway. Peace out.